Imagine you are standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring down, and you feel completely lost. No shelter, no direction, just the chaos surrounding you. Now, think about this. Some people panic in storms, while others find peace in watching the raindrops fall. Why is that? Why do some people remain calm even in the worst situations while others feel like they are drowning in their problems? Have you ever wondered why some people smile even when life seems unfair? Why do some individuals face failures, heartbreaks, and struggles, yet wake up every day with hope? And why do others, who seemingly have everything, feel miserable inside? What makes the difference? Is it luck, destiny, or something deeper? Every single day, we experience stress, disappointment, and moments when nothing seems to go right. Maybe a friend betrays you, a job opportunity slips away, or a personal dream feels out of reach. In these moments, it feels impossible to be happy. But what if happiness isn't about avoiding bad situations? What if it's about finding peace within them? Let's take a simple example. Two people lose their jobs on the same day. One falls into depression, blaming life for his misery. The other sees it as a chance to start fresh, to learn, to grow. Same situation, two different reactions. What if the key to happiness is not changing what happens to us, but changing how we respond? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, the channel where we explore deep, life-changing wisdom through simple, practical insights. If you've ever felt stuck, hopeless, or unsure how to stay happy during life's toughest moments, then this video is for you. Stay with us, because today, we're diving into powerful Buddhist teachings that can transform the way you experience happiness, even in the worst situations. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. It takes just a second, but it helps us bring more content like this to you. And we truly value your thoughts, so please drop your insights in the comments below. Let's build a community where we learn and grow together. Happiness in difficult times is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about understanding the deeper truths of life. In Buddhism, suffering is not a curse, it's a teacher. It reveals the truth about attachment, expectations, and inner peace. The more we understand this, the more we can find joy even in pain. Many people think happiness comes from external things, money, relationships, success. But if that were true, why do so many rich, successful people feel empty inside? Buddhism teaches that true happiness is internal. It's about how we see the world, how we react, and how we let go of things beyond our control. Life will never be free from challenges. There will always be moments of loss, failure, and pain. But the secret is this: suffering is temporary, and peace is always within reach. The problem is, most people look for happiness in the wrong places. They chase temporary pleasures, hoping they will bring permanent joy. But real happiness is not found outside. It is created inside. When we suffer, our first instinct is to escape. We run from pain, suppress emotions, or distract ourselves. But what if we stopped running? What if we faced our struggles with a different mindset? Instead of resisting, we accepted them. Instead of fearing change, we embraced it. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not our enemy. It's a path to wisdom. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a different perspective. Instead of seeing problems, you see lessons. Instead of feeling like a victim, you feel in control of your own emotions. This shift in mindset can change everything. And the best part? It doesn't require wealth, status, or luck, just a new way of thinking. In the next parts, we will explore step-by-step techniques that can help you find happiness even in life's darkest moments. We will break down Buddhist wisdom in a way that is simple and easy to apply in your daily life. You don't have to be a monk or meditate for hours to experience peace. Small shifts in thought and behavior can create powerful changes. So, stay with us as we embark on this journey together. Because happiness, even in the worst situations, is not just a dream, it is a choice. Understanding the nature of suffering, the first noble truth. Do you know what causes the most pain in life? It's not the problems themselves. It's our resistance to them. Think about it. The moment something goes wrong, our mind immediately asks, why me? Why is this happening? What did I do to deserve this? These questions create suffering. But what if, instead of resisting, we understood suffering for what it truly is? Buddhism begins with a simple yet powerful truth: suffering exists. This is the first noble truth, the foundation of wisdom. No matter who you are, no matter how much wealth or success you have, suffering is a part of life. It comes in many forms: pain, loss, disappointment, loneliness. Some people try to deny this truth, pretending that everything is fine. Others become bitter, blaming the world for their problems. But neither of these approaches brings peace. The key is to stop fighting against suffering and start understanding it. Imagine you are holding a rope tightly, and someone is pulling it from the other end. The more you resist, the more it burns your hands. But the moment you let go, the pain stops. Life is the same way. When we resist suffering, it tightens around us like a rope. But when we accept it, we create space for peace. Think about your own life. Has there ever been a time when something bad happened, but later you realized it led you to something better? Maybe you lost a job, but found a new passion. Maybe a relationship ended, but you became stronger because of it. At that moment, the pain felt unbearable. But with time, you saw that it was just a part of your journey. Most people believe suffering means something is wrong. But Buddhism teaches that suffering is simply a part of being alive. It's not a mistake. It's not a punishment. It's just the nature of life. The sooner we accept this, the less we struggle. Now, let's take an example. Imagine two people stuck in traffic. One is furious, honking, cursing, feeling completely miserable. The other turns on some music, enjoys the moment, and stays calm. Same situation, two completely different experiences. The suffering is not in the traffic. The suffering is in the mind. So, how do we start seeing suffering differently? First, we must understand that pain is unavoidable, but suffering is optional. Pain is what happens to us. Suffering is how we react to it. A person can go through immense hardships and still remain peaceful, while another can have everything and still feel miserable. The difference is in their mindset. Take a deep breath and think about this. What if suffering is not your enemy? What if, instead of running from it, you faced it with curiosity? What if, instead of feeling like a victim, you saw suffering as a teacher? Every moment of pain carries a lesson. It shows us where we are attached, where we need to grow, where we need to let go. Now, here's something interesting. The Buddha never said life should be free of suffering. Instead, he taught that by understanding suffering, we gain the power to be free from it. This is a major shift in perspective. When something bad happens, instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What is this teaching me?" Life is unpredictable. One day, everything is perfect. The next, everything falls apart. But here's the truth. This is the nature of existence. We cannot control everything, but we can control how we respond. Imagine a river flowing peacefully. Now, throw a rock into it. The water doesn't stop. It doesn't get angry. It simply moves around the rock and keeps flowing. This is the way we should approach suffering. Let it come, let it pass. Don't hold on to it. Don't let it define you. Many people believe happiness comes from avoiding suffering. But the truth is, real happiness comes from understanding it. When we accept that suffering is a part of life, we stop fearing it. We stop wasting energy trying to escape it. Instead, we learn from it. We grow through it. Let's go deeper. Why do we suffer? The Buddha explained that suffering comes from attachment. We attach ourselves to people, things, and expectations. We want things to be a certain way, and when they aren't, we feel pain. Think about it. We suffer when relationships end because we are attached to the idea of forever. We suffer when we lose money because we are attached to security. We suffer when people don't treat us as we expect because we are attached to our ego. But here's the secret. If we reduce our attachments, we reduce our suffering. This doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop clinging. Love people, but don't hold them so tightly that their absence destroys you. Work hard, but don't tie your entire happiness to success. Enjoy life's pleasures, but don't depend on them for inner peace. The less you cling, the freer you become. Now, take a moment and think about something that is causing you suffering right now. Is it a problem at work? A personal struggle? A feeling of loneliness? Whatever it is, ask yourself, am I making this worse by resisting it? What would happen if I accepted it instead? Suffering is like a wave in the ocean. It rises, it falls. No wave lasts forever. In the same way, no problem lasts forever. If you stop resisting, the wave will pass naturally. Let's look at another example. Imagine someone insults you. If you take it personally, you feel hurt. If you ignore it, it has no power over you. The words are the same. The difference is in your reaction. This is why suffering is a choice. It is not the insult that causes pain. It is our decision to be affected by it. Buddhism teaches us to watch suffering without attaching to it. Like watching clouds pass in the sky. You don't chase them. You don't try to hold on to them. You simply observe. So, the next time you feel pain, pause for a moment. Instead of reacting, simply watch. Ask yourself, where is this suffering coming from? What am I attached to? What lesson is hidden here? The more you do this, the less power suffering has over you. Life will always have ups and downs. That is its nature. The goal is not to remove suffering completely. The goal is to change our relationship with it. To see it as a passing visitor, not as a permanent resident in our hearts. Remember, suffering is not a punishment. It is a lesson. And once you learn from it, it loses its power over you. True happiness doesn't come from avoiding suffering. It comes from understanding it. Impermanence, the secret to emotional stability. Close your eyes for a moment and think about the happiest day of your life. Maybe it was a celebration, an achievement, or a moment spent with someone you love. Now, think about the saddest day of your life. A loss, a failure, or a time when everything felt like it was falling apart. Both moments felt so real when they happened. But where are they now? They exist only as memories. No matter how strong the emotions were, they have passed. This is the nature of life. Nothing stays the same forever. Everything is constantly changing. This truth can be both comforting and terrifying. We want happy moments to last forever, but they don't. We want pain to disappear instantly, but it takes time. When we fight against the natural flow of change, we suffer. But when we understand impermanence, we become free. Imagine you are holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze it tightly, it slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it stays in your palm. Life is the same way. The more we try to control things, the more they slip away. But when we accept that everything changes, we experience peace. Think about nature. The seasons change, the sun rises and sets, rivers flow, trees grow and wither. Nothing remains the same. Yet, we humans try to hold on to things as if they are permanent. We hold on to relationships, possessions, and identities, believing they will always be there. But nothing in life is truly ours to keep. Now, let's take a simple example. Imagine you have a favorite cup. You use it every day, and it brings you comfort. One day it falls and breaks. You feel sad because you were attached to it. But did you ever consider that the cup was always temporary? From the moment it was made, it was destined to break one day. If you had understood this from the beginning, would you have suffered when it broke? We live in fear of change because we don't accept impermanence. We fear losing loved ones, but death is a natural part of life. We fear failure, but failure is just a stepping stone to growth. We fear aging, but aging is simply time moving forward. The more we resist change, the more pain we create for ourselves. Think about your emotions. Have you ever been extremely angry, only to realize later that the anger faded? Have you ever felt heartbroken, only to wake up one day and feel okay again? Every emotion, no matter how intense, is temporary. Just like a storm in the sky, it comes and goes. If we understand this, we no longer get lost in our emotions. Imagine a river flowing. If you step into it, the water around you is constantly moving. It is never the same water twice. Life is the same way. Every moment is fresh, new, and changing. If we embrace this truth, we stop clinging to the past, and we stop fearing the future. Let's think about suffering again. Most of our pain comes from holding on to things that are meant to change. We hold on to past mistakes, wishing they never happened. We hold on to people, hoping they will never leave. We hold on to our youth, fearing old age. But this resistance only brings suffering. If we let go and flow with life, we find peace. There is a simple way to practice this. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself, this, too, shall pass. No matter how difficult the moment is, it will not last forever. And the same goes for happiness. Enjoy it while it is there, but don't cling to it. The beauty of life is in its ever-changing nature. Think about how much stress comes from trying to make things last forever. We try to make relationships perfect. We try to keep money secure. We try to control every detail of our lives. But the more we try to hold on, the more anxious we become. Impermanence teaches us to let go, not in a careless way, but in a wise way. We love fully, knowing that every moment is precious. We live fully, knowing that nothing is guaranteed. Have you ever watched the ocean waves? They rise and fall, come and go, never stopping. Life is the same. If we try to stop the waves, we will only exhaust ourselves. But if we learn to ride them, we move with ease. Think about your problems. Whatever is troubling you right now, will it matter in 5 years? 10 years? Probably not. Even the biggest heartbreaks, the hardest failures, and the deepest sorrows eventually fade. When we realize that everything is temporary, we stop taking everything so seriously. But impermanence is not just about loss. It is also about hope. If you are struggling, remember that this struggle is not permanent. If you are feeling lost, remember that clarity will come. The darkest night eventually turns into dawn. Nothing stays the same, not even pain. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Each rock represents an attachment, a past mistake, a fear, an expectation. The weight slows you down, making life harder. But what if you started letting go of one rock at a time? The lighter you become, the freer you feel. This is the power of embracing impermanence. Many people fear change, but change is the very thing that allows growth. A seed must break to become a tree. A caterpillar must change to become a butterfly. Without change, nothing new can happen. So why do we fear something that is necessary for our evolution? Buddhism teaches us to observe life like watching clouds in the sky. They form, they move, they disappear. We don't try to hold on to them. We simply watch. This is how we should approach life. Experiences come and go. People come and go. Emotions come and go. If we stop clinging, we stop suffering. Take a deep breath and think about something you have been holding on to. Is it a grudge? A regret? A fear of the future? Now imagine letting it go, like releasing a balloon into the sky. Feel the freedom in that. Impermanence is not something to fear. It is something to celebrate. Because it means that no matter how hard life gets, there is always the possibility of something new. So, the next time you feel pain, remind yourself it will pass. The next time you feel joy, cherish it, but don't cling. Life is a dance of moments, constantly shifting, constantly evolving. The more we embrace this, the more at peace we become. The power of the present moment. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel the sensation of being alive, right here, right now. This moment is all you truly have. The past is gone. The future is not yet here. But how often do we really live in the present? Most people spend their lives either trapped in the past or lost in the future. They replay old mistakes, regrets, and painful memories over and over, as if they can change what has already happened. Or they worry about the future, imagining problems that may never come. In doing so, they completely miss the life that is happening right now. Imagine you are walking through a beautiful garden. The flowers are blooming, the birds are singing, the air is fresh. But instead of enjoying it, your mind is elsewhere. You are thinking about a conversation from yesterday or worrying about something that may happen tomorrow. You are physically there, but mentally, you are lost. And because of that, you miss the beauty of the moment. This is how most people live their lives. Always somewhere else, never fully present. They eat without tasting their food. They talk without really listening. They exist, but they do not truly live. And then, one day, they look back and wonder where all the time went. Life is happening now, but we only realize this when something wakes us up. A sudden accident, a loss, or a powerful experience forces us to be present. In those moments, we feel alive. But why wait for something dramatic to remind us of what is already here? Why not wake up to life now? Think about a child playing. They are fully immersed in what they are doing. They are not thinking about yesterday or tomorrow. They are just experiencing the joy of the moment. But as we grow older, we forget how to do this. We become lost in worries, plans, and distractions. Many people believe happiness is something they will find in the future. They tell themselves, "I'll be happy when I get that job," or "I'll be happy when I have more money," or "I'll be happy when I find the right person." But when those things come, the mind simply moves to the next desire, the next worry. The cycle never ends. Real happiness is not found in some future event. It is found in this very moment. If you cannot be happy now, you will not be happy later. Because the future is always just another present moment waiting to happen. If you train yourself to find peace now, you will carry that peace with you wherever you go. The mind is like a restless monkey. always jumping from one thought to another. It clings to the past, it worries about the future, it refuses to sit still. But the more we chase after happiness, the more it escapes us. True peace is not about running after something. It is about stopping and fully experiencing what is already here. Imagine you are holding a glass of water. If you keep shaking it, the water remains disturbed. But if you place it down and leave it alone, the water settles, and everything becomes clear. This is how the mind works. When we stop chasing and simply observe, peace naturally arises. Think about a time when you felt completely at ease. Maybe it was during a walk in nature, or while watching a sunset, or when you were lost in a beautiful piece of music. In those moments, your mind was not worrying about the past or future. It was simply present. That is why those moments felt so peaceful. But presence is not something that only happens in special moments. It can be practiced at any time. When you eat, truly taste your food. When you listen to someone, give them your full attention. When you walk, feel each step. Every moment, no matter how ordinary, has its own beauty when you fully experience it. Think about how much stress comes from living in the past or future, regretting things you cannot change, worrying about things you cannot control. But if you focus on the present, you remove all of that unnecessary suffering. Because in this moment, right now, there is nothing lacking. You are alive. You are breathing. And that is enough. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment is not something that will come in the future. It is something you create by being fully present in what is happening right now. Imagine a river flowing. If you keep trying to grab the water, you will never hold it. But if you simply let it flow and experience it as it is, you will feel its beauty. Life is the same way. The more you try to control and grasp, the more it slips away. But if you let go and simply be, you will experience its fullness. Living in the present does not mean ignoring the past or the future. It simply means not being trapped by them. Learn from the past, but do not dwell on it. Plan for the future, but do not let it consume you. Balance is the key. Take a deep breath. Feel this moment. Nothing else exists right now. Just this breath, just this experience. This is what it means to truly live. The present moment is the only place where life truly happens. The past is a memory. The future is a dream. But right now you are here. And that is the greatest gift of all. The strength of the mind in difficult times. Imagine a great mountain standing tall against fierce storms, heavy rains, and strong winds. No matter how violent the weather gets, the mountain does not move. It remains steady, unshaken. Life, too, brings storms, moments of sadness, loss, failure, and pain. But a person with a strong mind remains steady, just like the mountain. Pain is a part of life, but suffering is a choice. A weak mind reacts to every difficulty with fear, anger, or hopelessness. A strong mind, however, does not allow external circumstances to disturb inner peace. Just like a tree with deep roots does not fall in a storm, a person with deep mental strength does not break under pressure. Think about a glass of water. If you drop a spoonful of salt into a small glass, the water will become undrinkable. But if you drop the same amount of salt into a vast lake, nothing happens. The bitterness disappears in the vastness. When the mind is small and weak, even small problems feel unbearable. But when the mind is vast and strong, even great difficulties lose their power over us. Many people believe happiness comes from avoiding problems. But true happiness comes from facing problems with courage and wisdom. Imagine a person walking on a rocky road barefoot. Every step is painful. They wish the road was smooth, but that is impossible. The wise solution is to wear strong shoes. A strong mind is like wearing shoes. It protects you from the sharp edges of life. A person with a weak mind sees obstacles as enemies. A person with a strong mind sees obstacles as teachers. Every difficulty carries a lesson. Pain teaches resilience. Failure teaches wisdom. Betrayal teaches independence. If we stop seeing problems as punishment and start seeing them as opportunities for growth, our whole perspective changes. Take a moment to think about your worst experiences. Were they only painful, or did they also shape you into a wiser, stronger person? Growth is never easy, but it is always worth it. The strongest trees are those that have faced the harshest winds. The strongest minds are those that have faced the hardest struggles. Life is not fair. Some people are born with more opportunities, others face more difficulties. But true strength is not about what life gives you. It is about how you respond. A weak mind complains and blames. A strong mind adapts and finds a way forward. Imagine two people stuck in a storm. One curses the rain, shouts at the sky, and feels miserable. The other accepts the rain, finds shelter, and waits calmly. The storm is the same, but their experiences are completely different. This is the power of the mind. It shapes how we experience life. Think about suffering. When we experience pain, we often make it worse by resisting it. A person who gets sick may spend more energy being angry about the sickness than actually healing. A person who loses a job may suffer more from fear of the future than from the actual loss. The mind creates extra suffering. If we stop resisting and start accepting, we become free. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means understanding reality as it is, and then deciding the best way to move forward. If we spend time crying over a broken cup instead of finding a new one, we waste precious moments of our life. The past cannot be changed, but the present is in our hands. A strong mind does not mean having no emotions. It means understanding emotions and not letting them control us. Fear will come, but it does not have to paralyze us. Sadness will come, but it does not have to consume us. Anger will rise, but we do not have to act on it. Just like the sky remains vast and untouched by passing clouds, the mind can remain calm despite passing emotions. The greatest strength is not in the body, but in the mind. A physically strong person may still break under pressure, but a mentally strong person can endure even the hardest situations. Look at history. Those who survived the toughest times were not always the strongest physically, but they were the strongest mentally. A strong mind does not mean having no fear. It means acting despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision that something else is more important than fear. A warrior does not fight because they have no fear. They fight because they refuse to let fear control them. How can one develop a strong mind? The answer is simple: through practice. Just as a muscle grows through repeated exercise, the mind grows stronger through repeated challenges. Every difficulty is a chance to build resilience. If a person runs away from hardships, they remain weak. If they face them, they grow. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall many times, but they never stop trying. They do not see failure as a reason to quit. They see it as part of the process. But as we grow older, we become afraid of failure. We fear judgment. We fear pain. But if we could learn again from the child, we would see that every fall is just another step toward success. Life will always test you. There will be moments when you feel lost, hopeless, or broken. But remember this: a diamond is just a piece of coal that handled pressure well. Strength does not come from comfort. It comes from overcoming. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. Do you want to be someone who let problems defeat them? Or do you want to be someone who grew stronger through challenges? The choice is yours. Every hardship can either break you or build you. The mind decides. So, whenever you face a storm, remember the mountain. It stands tall, unmoved, strong. Be like the mountain. No matter how hard the winds blow, no matter how heavy the rain falls, remain steady. Because nothing outside you has the power to break you unless you give it permission. The power of letting go. Imagine you are holding a rope tightly, but on the other end, someone is pulling it with great force. The more you resist, the more pain you feel in your hands. The moment you let go, the pain disappears. This is how suffering works in life. We hold on to things, past mistakes, painful memories, grudges, fears, and expectations. And the tighter we hold, the more we suffer. But the moment we release them, peace enters our lives. Letting go does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop clinging to things that are beyond our control. We suffer the most when we try to control the uncontrollable. We cannot control the past, yet we replay it in our minds. We cannot control how others treat us, yet we expect them to behave a certain way. We cannot control every situation, yet we constantly worry. The more we try to hold on, the more life resists. But the moment we accept and let go, everything becomes lighter. Think about a traveler carrying a heavy bag on their shoulders. Every step feels exhausting. But if they stop, open the bag, and remove unnecessary things, the journey becomes easier. Life is the same. Many of us carry unnecessary burdens: guilt, regret, resentment, fear. These do not serve us. They only make the journey harder. Letting go is an art. It requires trust. Trust that what is meant for you will stay. Trust that what is left was never truly yours. Trust that even if things do not go as planned, life will still unfold as it should. But most people do not trust. They resist. And resistance creates suffering. Think about a river flowing effortlessly. It does not resist the rocks in its path. It does not try to stop or change its direction forcefully. It simply flows. But if someone jumps into the river and tries to stop the current with their hands, they will exhaust themselves. Life is like this river. It is always moving, always changing. But we, instead of flowing with it, fight against it. We try to hold on to moments, people, and things that are meant to pass. And in this resistance, we suffer. Have you ever met someone who cannot forgive? They carry their anger like a burning coal in their hand, hoping it will harm the other person. But in reality, they are the ones getting burned. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about freeing yourself from the burden of resentment. Letting go of grudges does not mean what happened was okay. It simply means you refuse to let that pain control you any longer. The same goes for regrets. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has moments they wish they could change. But the past is like a book that has already been written. You can read it, learn from it, but you cannot rewrite it. So why do we keep turning the same painful pages over and over again? Why do we refuse to close the book and move forward? Holding on to the past only stops us from living fully in the present. Fear is another heavy burden people carry. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. But look closely at fear. Most of it is just imagination. How many times have you feared something, only for it to never happen? How many times have you wasted days or months worrying about something that, in the end, did not matter? Fear tricks the mind. It makes small things appear big. And when we hold on to fear, we limit ourselves from experiencing life fully. Imagine standing on the shore, watching waves come and go. You do not try to stop them. You do not hold on to one wave and beg it to stay. You simply watch, knowing that each wave must pass. This is how we should view life. People come and go. Situations rise and fall. Happiness comes and fades. Sorrow arrives and departs. Nothing is permanent. Everything is in motion. The more we allow this natural flow, the more peaceful we become. One of the hardest things to let go of is expectations. We expect life to be fair, but life is not bound by our rules. We expect people to always understand us, but they have their own perspectives. We expect love to last forever, but everything in life is temporary. When reality does not match our expectations, we feel disappointed. But the truth is, the problem was never reality. The problem was the expectation. Think about a tree in the autumn. When its leaves start falling, it does not try to hold on to them. It does not resist the change. It lets go, trusting that new leaves will grow in the right season. What if we could live like this? What if we could trust that whatever leaves our life is making space for something new? What if, instead of mourning what is lost, we welcomed what is yet to come? Some people fear letting go because they think it means losing something important. But in reality, letting go often means gaining something better: freedom, peace, clarity. It means making space for what truly matters. If your hands are full of things that no longer serve you, how can you receive new blessings? Sometimes, letting go is the bravest thing we can do. Pain teaches us what is truly valuable. If a person breaks our heart, they teach us the importance of self-love. If a situation disappoints us, it teaches us to rely on ourselves. If a plan fails, it teaches us to adapt. But if we refuse to let go of the pain, we do not allow the lesson to turn into wisdom. We get stuck. And life is meant to be lived, not stuck. Imagine you are in a boat, rowing across a vast lake. You notice that there is an anchor dragging in the water, slowing you down. No matter how hard you row, the boat struggles to move. Then, you realize you can pull up the anchor. The moment you do, the boat moves freely. This is what happens when we let go of what holds us back. Happiness does not come from clinging. It comes from flowing. It comes from accepting that life is always changing. It comes from trusting that even in loss, something beautiful can arise. It comes from understanding that real peace is not in controlling life, but in embracing it. Take a deep breath. Think about something you have been holding on to: an old pain, a regret, an expectation. Now, imagine opening your hands and releasing it, just like letting go of a balloon into the sky. Feel the weight lift. Feel the lightness. Life is too short to carry unnecessary burdens. Let go. and let life unfold as it is meant to. Finding strength in silence. Imagine standing on the top of a hill, looking over a vast valley. The wind is gentle, the sky is wide, and the world feels quiet. In that silence, there is something powerful, something peaceful, something deep. But in daily life, silence is rare. The world is noisy. People speak without thinking. They argue. They complain. They shout to prove their point. Yet, the wisest people do not always speak. They listen. They observe. They understand that silence holds a power greater than words. Silence is not weakness. It is not ignorance. It is not fear. Silence is the space where true strength grows. A person who reacts to everything with words loses energy. A person who can remain silent, who can pause and think before responding, holds great power. When someone insults you, silence can be stronger than any reply. When someone misunderstands you, silence can protect your peace. Not everything needs an answer. Not everything needs a reaction. Think about a deep ocean. The surface may have waves, but deep below, it is calm. A person who understands the power of silence is like that deep ocean. No matter what happens on the surface, storms, winds, rains, the depth remains undisturbed. But most people live only on the surface. When someone says something hurtful, they react immediately. When life presents difficulties, they panic. They do not realize that true power lies in stillness. Have you ever noticed how the strongest people do not always speak the most? A wise teacher does not need to shout to be respected. A great leader does not need to argue to prove their point. Their silence, their presence, their calmness speak for them. Silence is not about suppressing words. It is about choosing them wisely. It is about knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. People often believe that speaking more means knowing more. But the greatest wisdom is often found in silence. When we are silent, we hear things that others miss. We notice emotions behind words. We see the truth hidden in actions. We learn more about the world and about ourselves. But in noise, we lose this ability. Think about a cup full of muddy water. If you keep stirring it, the water remains cloudy. But if you stop and let it sit, the mud settles, and the water becomes clear. The mind is the same. When there is too much noise, too much talking, too many distractions, it becomes cloudy. But when we allow silence, our thoughts settle, and we see things clearly. There is a great lesson in nature. The sun does not need to announce its arrival every morning. The mountains do not need to shout about their strength. The river does not need to explain its path. They simply exist, and their presence is enough. Silence allows things to be as they are. It removes the need for constant explanations and justifications. Many people feel uncomfortable with silence. They fill every empty moment with words, with music, with distractions. But those who are comfortable in silence are truly free. They do not need external noise to feel complete. They find peace in their own presence. Think about a conflict. When two people argue, each one wants to prove they are right. Words become weapons. Emotions rise. But have you ever noticed what happens when one person remains silent? The argument loses power. The silence absorbs the anger. It leaves space for understanding. It turns noise into peace. Silence is not about avoiding communication. It is about improving it. When we listen instead of rushing to speak, we understand others better. When we take a moment of silence before reacting, we avoid unnecessary pain. When we choose our words carefully, they become more meaningful. In the teachings of Buddhism, silence is a great practice. The Buddha often remained silent when asked unnecessary questions. He knew that some truths cannot be explained with words. They must be experienced. Many monks spend days or even years in silence, not because they have nothing to say, but because they are learning to hear the deeper truths of life. Imagine sitting under a tree, feeling the wind, hearing the birds, sensing the stillness around you. In that moment, you do not need words. You do not need explanations. You simply exist. And in that existence, there is great peace. This is the power of silence. Many people feel the need to defend themselves when criticized. But true strength does not come from arguments. It comes from confidence. A lion does not need to respond to the barking of dogs. A wise person does not need to argue with those who misunderstand them. Truth does not need to be shouted. It simply is. Think about your own life. How often do you speak without thinking? How often do you react when silence would have been the better response? How often do you fill your mind with noise when it craves stillness? Learning to be silent is not just about not speaking. It is about creating space, space for wisdom, space for peace, space for true understanding. In moments of sadness, silence can heal. In moments of anger, silence can protect. In moments of confusion, silence can guide. Those who learn to use silence wisely become unshakable. They do not waste energy on unnecessary battles. They do not lose themselves in empty words. They walk through life with a quiet strength that cannot be broken. Next time you face a difficult situation, pause. Do not react immediately. Allow silence to be your shield. Observe, understand, and then decide whether words are needed. More often than not, silence itself will be the most powerful answer. Imagine a candle in a dark room. It does not need to make noise to bring light. It simply exists, and its presence is enough. Be like that candle. Let your silence be the light that guides you. Letting go of the uncontrollable. Imagine standing by a river, watching the water flow. Some leaves float by peacefully, carried by the current. Others get stuck on rocks, struggling to move forward. The river does not stop. It does not fight. It simply flows. Life is like that river. Things happen, people change, situations arise, and not everything is in our control. Yet, most people try to hold on. They fight the current, resisting what cannot be changed, and in doing so, they create their own suffering. There are things in life we can control, our actions, our thoughts, our choices. But there are also things we cannot control, the past, the opinions of others, the way life unfolds. Many people spend their days worrying about things beyond their power. They replay old mistakes in their minds. They fear the future. They hold on to anger, regret, and pain. But what does all this holding on achieve? Nothing. It only makes the heart heavy. Imagine carrying a stone in your hand. At first, it feels light. But if you hold it for hours, your arm grows tired. If you carry it for days, it becomes unbearable. The weight of the stone does not change. What changes is the effort it takes to hold on. This is how it feels when we cling to things we cannot control. The longer we hold on, the more painful it becomes. Life is full of unexpected events. A loved one may leave. A job may be lost. A plan may fail. The mind immediately resists. This should not have happened. Why me? This is unfair. But does fighting reality change it? No. It only increases suffering. Acceptance is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is understanding that some things are meant to pass. That not everything needs to be controlled. That peace comes not from forcing life to be a certain way, but from flowing with it. Think about a tree in a storm. If it is stiff, the wind will break it. But if it is flexible, it bends and survives. The same applies to life. Those who refuse to adapt, who resist what is happening, break under pressure. But those who learn to let go, to move with the changing winds, find peace. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean not caring. It means understanding what is yours to hold and what is not. It means doing your best and trusting that life will take care of the rest. It means knowing when to release what no longer serves you, whether it is a toxic relationship, an old regret, or a fear of the future. Think about a butterfly. If you try to hold it too tightly, you harm it. But if you open your hands, it stays freely or flies away as it wishes. Love, happiness, and peace are like that butterfly. If you cling to them with fear, you lose them. But if you let go, they come to you naturally. Most people live in two places, the past and the future. They replay old memories, wishing things had been different. Or they worry about what might happen, fearing the unknown. But the past is already gone, and the future is not yet here. The only real moment is now. And now is where peace is found. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from attachment. People attach themselves to expectations, to desires, to identities. I must be successful. This person must love me. Life must be fair. But life does not follow human expectations. It moves on its own path. And when people resist this, they suffer. Letting go is not about giving up happiness. It is about removing the barriers to happiness. It is about allowing life to flow instead of trying to control every wave. Imagine holding a rope tightly. The more you pull, the more it burns your hands. But the moment you release it, the pain stops. The same is true for the things we struggle to control. The moment we let go, peace begins. Some people believe they need closure to move on. But closure is not something the world gives. It is something you create within yourself. You do not need an apology to forgive. You do not need a perfect ending to find peace. You can choose to let go at any moment. A person who holds on to resentment carries poison in their heart. They wait for an apology that may never come. They expect fairness in a world that is not always fair. But who suffers in the end? The person who refuses to let go. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about freeing yourself from the weight of the past. Imagine a bird with a broken wing. It cannot fly until it lets the past injury heal. The same is true for people. If they keep reopening old wounds, they never move forward. Letting go is not forgetting. It is healing. It is choosing not to let old pain control your present life. People fear letting go because they think it means losing something. But in truth, it means gaining freedom. Freedom from worry, from pain, from burdens that no longer need to be carried. It means making space for new things to come into your life. A traveler cannot carry everything on their journey. They must leave behind what is unnecessary to move forward. In life, the same rule applies. To grow, to find peace, to be happy, you must let go of what no longer serves you. Take a deep breath. Imagine everything you are holding on to. Past mistakes, fears, worries. Now, imagine placing them in a boat and watching that boat sail away. It is not yours to carry anymore. You are free. Letting go is a daily practice. It is choosing, again and again, to release what you cannot change. It is reminding yourself that peace is more important than control, that happiness is found not in grasping, but in allowing. Just like the river, life flows. You do not need to fight it. You do not need to hold on to every branch and stone along the way. Trust that you will be carried where you need to go. And in that trust, you will find true peace. The strength of inner peace. Imagine a lake on a quiet morning. The surface is still, like a mirror reflecting the sky. But then, a strong wind comes, and the water starts to ripple. If the wind grows stronger, waves crash against the shore. The lake has lost its stillness, disturbed by forces outside of itself. This is how most people live, calm when life is easy, but shaken when challenges arise. True peace, however, is not about the absence of storms. It is about being the lake that remains still, no matter how strong the wind blows. Most people look for peace in the world around them. They believe they will be at peace when they have enough money, when they find the right partner, when life is free from struggle. But peace is not found outside. It is found within. The world will always be unpredictable. There will always be difficult days, unexpected changes, and moments of loss. If peace depends on circumstances, then it is never real peace. True peace is the kind that remains, even when everything around you is in chaos. Imagine a person walking through a crowded marketplace. People are shouting, music is playing, footsteps are rushing in every direction. Yet, in the middle of all this noise, the person is calm. Their mind is not disturbed by the sounds, because they have learned how to find stillness inside. This is the kind of peace that cannot be taken away, no matter what is happening outside. But how does one develop this kind of peace? The first step is to stop reacting to everything. Most people live in reaction. Someone says something rude, and immediately anger rises. A small problem appears, and immediately anxiety takes over. It is like being a puppet controlled by the world. Every event pulls a string, and emotions dance in response. But what if, instead of reacting, one simply observed? What if, instead of becoming angry, one noticed the anger, accepted it, and let it pass like a cloud in the sky? The Buddha taught that the mind is like a monkey, always jumping from one thought to another, never still. But just as a monkey can be trained, so can the mind. When faced with a challenge, pause. Instead of reacting, breathe. Notice the emotion, but do not let it control you. With practice, the mind becomes still, no longer disturbed by every little thing. Think about fire. It needs fuel to keep burning. If you stop adding wood, the flames will eventually die out. This is the same with anger, worry, and fear. The more attention you give them, the stronger they grow. But if you stop feeding them, they lose their power. Every time you choose not to react, you are taking away the fuel. Many people believe they must fight their emotions to be at peace. But fighting only creates more struggle. Peace is not about pushing away feelings. It is about allowing them to come and go without attachment. Like waves in the ocean, emotions rise and fall. They do not need to be controlled. They only need to be understood. There was once a monk who was insulted by a stranger. The stranger shouted, called him names, and tried to provoke him. But the monk remained calm. Finally, the stranger asked, "Why do you not get angry?" The monk replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to take it, to whom does the gift belong?" The stranger said, "To the one who offered it." The monk smiled, "Exactly. If I do not accept your anger, it remains with you." This is the power of inner peace. When someone insults you, their words are like a gift. If you do not accept them, they have no effect. When problems arise, they are like waves in the ocean. If you do not resist them, they pass naturally. But this does not mean ignoring problems. It means facing them with a calm heart. If a storm is coming, panicking does not stop it. But preparing for it with a steady mind makes all the difference. Strength is not found in reacting. Strength is found in responding with wisdom. Most people fear difficulties. They wish for a life without struggle. But just like a blade is sharpened by friction, the mind is strengthened by challenges. Every difficulty is an opportunity to grow. Every challenge is a chance to practice peace. When life is easy, anyone can be calm. But when life is hard, that is when true peace is tested. Imagine two trees in a storm. One has shallow roots, and the wind easily knocks it down. The other has deep roots, so no matter how strong the wind, it stands tall. Inner peace is like deep roots. It allows you to stand strong, no matter what life brings. There is a story of a man who went to the Buddha, complaining about his many problems. He wanted a solution that would remove all suffering from his life. The Buddha said, "I cannot take away your problems, but I can give you a teaching. There are two arrows in life. The first arrow is pain. It is unavoidable. The second arrow is suffering. It is created by the mind. The first arrow is when something bad happens. The second arrow is when we resist it, when we dwell on it, when we let it control our happiness. You cannot avoid the first arrow, but you can stop shooting the second one. Life will bring difficulties, but suffering is a choice. The mind creates suffering by holding on to things, by resisting what is. But when you stop fighting life, when you accept what comes, suffering disappears. Some people say, "I will be at peace when everything is perfect." But perfection never comes. The world is always changing. There will always be new challenges. The secret is to find peace not in a perfect life, but in the middle of imperfection. A candle does not wait for the darkness to disappear before it shines. It simply shines. In the same way, do not wait for all problems to disappear before you find peace. Find peace now, even in the middle of difficulties. Take a deep breath. Feel the present moment. Right now, there is nothing to fix, nothing to change, nothing to resist. In this moment, there is only peace. When the lake is still, it reflects the sky clearly. When the mind is still, it reflects life clearly. Do not let the winds of life disturb your inner lake. Let peace be your strength. Let stillness be your power. No matter what happens, remain like the deep waters, undisturbed by the surface waves. The art of letting go. Imagine you are holding a rope, and someone is pulling it from the other side. The more you resist, the more painful it becomes. Your hands burn, your fingers ache, and yet, you keep holding on. But what if you simply let go? The pain would disappear instantly. The struggle would end in a moment. This is how most people live. They hold on to things that cause them suffering, painful memories, regrets, grudges, expectations. They carry burdens that weigh down their hearts, refusing to let go. But life is always changing, always moving. And those who do not learn to release their grip will always suffer. There was once a man who went to the Buddha and said, "I cannot find peace. My mind is always restless, filled with worries and regrets." The Buddha handed him a cup and told him to hold it. Then, slowly, the Buddha began pouring water into the cup. It filled to the top, but he did not stop. The water began overflowing, spilling onto the ground. The man said, "The cup is full. It cannot take more water." The Buddha smiled, "And so is your mind. You hold on to so much that there is no space for peace." Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean you stop caring. It simply means you stop carrying what no longer serves you. If you have been hurt in the past, holding on to that pain does not change what happened. If you made a mistake, punishing yourself does not undo it. If someone has wronged you, staying angry does not make it right. Think of a traveler walking through a desert, carrying a heavy bag of stones. Every step is difficult. Every movement is a struggle. He complains about how hard the journey is, but he refuses to put down the bag. He has convinced himself that he needs to carry it. But the moment he realizes that the weight is unnecessary, everything changes. He lets go, and suddenly, the journey becomes easier. People do this with their thoughts and emotions. They carry things that serve no purpose, believing they have no choice. But they do. Every moment, they have the choice to release what is not needed. Letting go is a practice. It is not something you do once and forget. Just like the body must be cleaned daily, the mind must also be cleared regularly. Old thoughts, past hurts, unnecessary worries, these things must be washed away so that new energy can flow in. There was once a monk who traveled from village to village, sharing wisdom. One day, he reached a river that had no bridge. He found a fallen tree and used it to cross. On the other side, he picked up the tree and carried it on his shoulders. A passerby asked, "Why are you carrying that tree?" The monk replied, "It helped me once. I do not want to leave it behind." The passerby laughed, "But you do not need it anymore. You have already crossed." The monk realized his mistake and let the tree fall to the ground. This is what people do with their past. A situation, a memory, or an emotion may have been important once. But if it is no longer useful, why keep carrying it? The mind clings to what is familiar, even if it causes pain. But just like the monk, the moment you realize you no longer need to carry the past, you are free. Imagine standing on the shore of a river. You see a leaf floating by. You watch it move with the water, never resisting, never trying to hold on. It simply flows. This is the way of life. When you stop grasping, when you stop trying to control everything, you begin to flow with the natural rhythm of existence. Many people believe that letting go is a weakness. They think it means giving up. But letting go is not surrendering to failure. It is surrendering to peace. It is trusting that life will take care of things in its own way. When a bird lets go of the branch, it does not fall. It flies. A young man once asked a Zen master, "How can I be free?" The master took him to a tree and told him to grab a branch. "Hold on as tightly as you can." The young man gripped the branch with all his strength. The master asked, "Now, how does that feel?" The young man said, "It hurts. My arm is tired." The master nodded. "Now let go." The young man released the branch. The master smiled. "That is freedom. Pain is not in the branch. Pain is in the grip. Suffering is not in life. Suffering is in the mind that refuses to release. But how does one let go? The first step is awareness. Many people are not even aware of what they are holding on to. They live in patterns, repeating the same thoughts, reacting in the same way, feeling the same emotions over and over again. When they stop and observe, they begin to see the unnecessary weight they carry. The second step is acceptance. People do not let go because they do not want to accept what is. They wish things were different. They wish the past had been kinder. They wish they had made better choices. But reality cannot be changed. The past is gone. The only way forward is through acceptance. The final step is trust. Trust that whatever happens, you will be okay. Trust that you do not need to control everything. Trust that life knows what it is doing. Imagine an open hand and a closed fist. The closed fist is tight, tense, and full of struggle. The open hand is relaxed, at peace, free. Which one are you? Let go of regrets. Let go of expectations. Let go of things that bring you suffering. Life is too short to carry what weighs you down. Like a bird, like a river, like the wind, be free. The strength within you. There is a story of a man who lived in a village at the foot of a great mountain. Every morning, he would stand outside his small house and look up at the towering peak, covered in mist, reaching high into the sky. He dreamed of climbing it, but always told himself, "I am too weak. The mountain is too high. It is impossible." One day, an old monk passed through the village and heard the man's words. The monk smiled and said, "You have already climbed the mountain many times in your mind. Why not take the first step?" The man hesitated. "What if I fail? What if I cannot reach the top?" The monk laughed. "Then you will have walked further than you ever have before." Life presents mountains to everyone. Some are made of problems, some of fears, some of doubts. People stand at the bottom, looking up, thinking they are not strong enough. But strength is not something given from the outside. It is something discovered from within. There was once a tree that stood alone in a vast field. The wind was strong, the storms were fierce, yet it remained standing. When asked how it endured, the The tree said, I have learned to bend but not break. I have grown deep roots. The storms only make me stronger. This is how one must face life. Challenges come, difficulties arise, but they are not meant to break you. They are meant to reveal the strength within you. The wind does not destroy the mountain. The fire does not destroy gold. They only shape and refine. A man once asked a Zen master, how can I be strong? The master handed him a cup and poured hot tea into it. The man flinched as he felt the heat through the cup. The master said, you are like this cup. If you cannot hold discomfort, you cannot hold strength. True strength is not about fighting. It is not about showing power. It is about endurance. It is about remaining calm when everything around you is chaotic. It is about choosing peace when anger is easier. It is about continuing forward even when the path is difficult. There was once a farmer who had only one horse. One day, the horse ran away. His neighbors said, what bad luck? The farmer simply said, maybe. A week later, the horse returned, bringing 3 wild horses with it. His neighbors said, what good luck? The farmer again said, maybe. The next day, his son tried to ride one of the wild horses and fell, breaking his leg. His neighbors said, what bad luck? The farmer again said, maybe. A week later, the army came to the village, taking all young men for war. But because the farmer's son had a broken leg, he was left behind. The neighbors said, what good luck? The farmer again said, maybe. The farmer did not see things as good or bad. He simply accepted them. This is strength, not reacting with fear, not being shaken by every event, but staying balanced. People often think strength is about never feeling fear, never feeling pain, never feeling doubt. But that is not true. A strong person feels everything, but they do not let those feelings control them. They experience pain, but do not become pain. They face fear, but do not become fear. Imagine standing in a storm. The wind howls, the rain pours, but you stand firm. You do not run, you do not hide, you do not fight the wind. You simply remain. This is the way of inner strength. A young warrior once asked his master, how do I defeat fear? The master took him to a dark cave. Enter, he said. The young warrior hesitated, then slowly walked inside. The cave was cold, empty, silent. After a few minutes, he stepped out. There was nothing inside, he said. The master smiled. And so it is with fear. It seems large from the outside, but once you step into it, you realize there is nothing there. Fear weakens people more than anything. They fear failure, so they do not try. They fear pain, so they do not heal. They fear change, so they remain stuck. But fear is like a shadow. No matter how big it looks, it cannot harm you. A bird does not fear the breaking of a branch because it trusts its wings. A strong person does not fear change because they trust themselves. Strength is not in the body. It is in the mind. It is in patience, in calmness, in resilience. When people say, I cannot handle this, they forget how much they have already handled. Every difficulty they have survived has made them stronger. Every challenge they have faced has prepared them. There was once a potter who shaped clay into beautiful pots. A man asked him, how do you make them so strong? The potter smiled, I place them in fire. The same is true for people. Difficulties shape them. Pain strengthens them. Hardship refines them. Those who have never faced challenges remain weak. But those who have endured hardships become unbreakable. A Zen master once said, do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Because an easy life does not create strength. It is struggle that makes a person powerful. Imagine a river flowing through a valley. It faces rocks, bends, and obstacles, yet it keeps moving forward. It does not stop. It does not give up. And over time, it carves even the hardest stone. This is how strength works. It is not about being the strongest person in the room. It is about continuing forward, no matter what. It is about standing tall when the world tries to push you down. Strength is already inside you. It does not come from outside. It does not come from others. It comes from within. A warrior does not become strong by avoiding battles. A tree does not become tall by avoiding the wind. A person does not become powerful by avoiding hardship. Look at everything you have been through. Look at everything you have survived. You are stronger than you think. You always have been. The path to lasting happiness. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean, watching the waves rise and fall. Some waves are gentle, others are fierce, but no matter how high they rise, they always return to the sea. Life is like this ocean. It is always moving, always changing. But if you learn to stand firm, if you learn to accept its rhythm, you will never be drowned by the storms. Happiness is not found in controlling the waves. It is found in learning to ride them. So many people spend their lives fighting against what they cannot change, resisting every difficulty, fearing every challenge. But peace does not come from control. It comes from acceptance. A man once asked a Zen master, "What is the secret to happiness?" The master handed him a spoon with a few drops of water on it and said, "Walk around the temple and do not let the water spill." The man carefully walked, watching the spoon, making sure the water did not fall. When he returned, the master asked, "Did you enjoy the beauty of the temple?" The man shook his head. "I was too focused on the water." The master smiled and said, "And that is why you are unhappy. You are so busy worrying that you forget to enjoy life." People live their lives carrying invisible spoons, afraid to spill even a single drop of comfort, security, or control. They fear loss. They fear change. They fear the unknown. But in doing so, they miss the beauty around them. They forget to laugh, to breathe, to love. A wise man once said, "You are not in control of the wind, but you can adjust your sails." This is the key to happiness. Not fighting against life, but flowing with it. Not resisting change, but embracing it. Not fearing loss, but understanding that nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed. Many people think happiness is found in perfect conditions. They say, "I will be happy when I have more money, when I find love, when I am successful." But happiness is not something waiting for you in the future. It is something you create in the present. A poor man once asked a monk, "Why am I always unhappy?" The monk handed him a small cup and filled it with salt. "Drink," he said. The man tasted it and spit it out. "It is too bitter." The monk then took him to a lake and poured the same amount of salt into it. "Now drink," he said. The man tasted the water. "It is fresh," he said. The monk nodded. The salt is the same, but the difference is the size of the container. When your heart is small, even a little suffering makes you bitter. But when your heart is large, no suffering can destroy your peace. Happiness is not about removing pain. It is about expanding your heart. The same troubles that make one person suffer can make another person grow. The same challenges that break one person can make another stronger. It is not the situation that determines happiness. It is the way you see it. There was once a traveler who walked into a village and asked an old man, "Is this a good place to live?" The old man asked, "What was your last village like?" The traveler replied, "It was terrible. The people were unkind. The life was hard." The old man said, "Then you will find this place the same." Later, another traveler came and asked the same question. The old man again asked, "What was your last village like?" The second traveler replied, "It was wonderful. The people were kind. The life was good." The old man smiled and said, "Then you will find this place the same. The world is not what it is. The world is what you are. If you carry bitterness, you will find bitterness everywhere. If you carry peace, you will find peace everywhere. Happiness is not in the place. It is in the person." A student once asked his master, "How can I be happy?" The master handed him a cup and kept pouring tea until it overflowed. The student shouted, "Stop! The cup is full." The master nodded. And so is your mind. If you are filled with worries, regrets, and fears, where will happiness fit? Let go. Let go of the past. Let go of what you cannot change. Let go of anger. Let go of doubt. Happiness is not something you chase. It is something you allow. It is like a butterfly. If you run after it, it flies away. But if you sit still, it may land on your shoulder. A tree does not resist the wind. It bends. A river does not stop for a rock. It flows around it. A person who understands life does not fight against it. They move with it. They trust it. They accept it. One day, a man asked a Zen master, "What is the meaning of life?" The master simply smiled and said, "Life is. It is simple, but people make it complicated. They hold on to things that no longer exist. They worry about things that may never happen. They compare their lives to others. They chase after things that do not bring peace." A man once searched for a perfect stone to carve a statue. He traveled to many places, rejected many stones, and never found the right one. One day, an old sculptor saw him and said, "The perfect stone does not exist. You must take a stone and make it perfect. Life is the same. There is no perfect life waiting for you. You must take what you have and make it beautiful. You must take today, even with its troubles, and find joy in it. You must take each moment and shape it into something meaningful. Happiness is not found in the future. It is found in the present. It is found in a deep breath, in a kind word, in a moment of stillness. It is found when you stop searching for it and realize it has always been within you. A master once said, "Enlightenment is not about learning something new. It is about remembering what you already know." You already know how to be happy. You were happy as a child, playing in the dirt, laughing at the wind, dancing in the rain. You were happy before you were told to chase things, before you were told to be afraid. Return to that simplicity. Return to that joy. Be like the ocean, always flowing, always at peace. Be like the sky, open, limitless, free. Be like the tree, grounded, steady, strong. And now, if you have found something meaningful in this journey, remember that wisdom is not just for keeping. It is for sharing. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And most importantly, drop down your thoughts in the comments. Let us walk this path together.